Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sarah if you don't know me, and I started my YouTube channel to follow my journey becoming a single mother by choice, as well as going through IVF and getting diagnosed with endometrial cancer and PCOS. So if any of those topics appeal to you, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. I think it's on this side. We shall see. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you join this little community, and be sure to like this video. So I have had a bit of an emotional weekend. If you watched my last video, you know that I was pretty shocked and devastated by the news that I only had one normal embryo after my PGT-A testing of my 9 embryos that made it to blastocyst from my 35 eggs that were frozen. Statistically, I just still cannot wrap my head around that. But after a lot of crying and researching and just really thinking about things and trying to, and just being grateful for my situation, I've realized that I'm very happy that I have an embryo that is normal, that is going to be my baby. And I've chosen to think very positively about this embryo and realize that this is the universe telling me that this one specific embryo is what is supposed to be my baby. So I started thinking about how if I had a lot of embryos, then I really have to figure out what to do with them if I ended up only using 1 or 2. So I guess that's kind of a blessing in disguise that I don't have to decide if the options are either discarding them or donating them to research, to science, or donating them to other couples. And I still don't know quite how I feel about having biological children in the world that that are not in my life. So I know that eventually would have been a hard decision that I would have had to make, and as of right now, I do not have to make that decision. So I guess that is a silver lining that I can take away from this situation. So I also wanted to talk about the 2 mosaic embryos that I have. I had a call today with iGenomics, which is the lab that does the PGA testing for Cleveland Clinic. And when you have the PGT-A testing, you get access to genetic counselors to talk to them with any questions that you have about your results. So I had close to a 45-minute call today with a genetic counselor to talk about my mosaic embryos as well as my normal embryo. With all the research that I did over the weekend, I was pretty set on the fact that I was going to eventually probably transfer one of my mosaics in hopes that it would result in a healthy pregnancy and baby. Unfortunately, my specific mosaics, after talking to this genetic counselor, it just seems way too risky. So I feel like, from what I gathered, the mosaics that typically result in healthy pregnancies are low-level mosaics, which mine are, but they typically only have 1 chromosome affected. And both of my mosaics have Lily, why are you growling? Both of my mosaics have 2 chromosomes affected. And the particular chromosomes that are affected with my mosaics, she went through a slew of issues that could happen with the pregnancy because of the specific chromosomes that are affected with my mosaics. So it's weird that, unfortunately, I mean, I was, when I first got the news, I mourned the loss of the other 6 embryos, and was really kind of pulling for the fact that one of my mosaics might be my second child. But after having this call, I have a weird sense of peace about my decision that I just don't want to take the risk with either of these mosaics because of the chromosomes that are affected. So I did find out that my 2 mosaics, one was a female and one was a male. And I still did not find out what my normal embryo is, so it's either female or male, obviously. I was talking to my nurse today and she said, because she knows what my baby is, and she was like, well, I'll tell you this. And I started to get really nervous that she was gonna like give me some sort of hint, and she told me it's not a fish. So we know that it's not a fish, so that's good. So one interesting thing so I wanted to talk a little bit more about my normal embryo, the grade of it, and also the genetic counselor told me about the normal embryo's mito score. Mito standing for, or short for, mitochondria. So she said that the mito score, I had never heard of this before, but I guess, so when you're deciding what embryo to transfer, and if you have a lot of embryos to choose from or several embryos to choose from, you would first go by the grading, which most clinics use the Gardner system. My clinic does not. And again, I think I mentioned in my last video, I don't know what the system is called, but it's just numbers. Means the same thing as like 1 would mean A and 2 would mean B, so it's very similar, obviously. But the mito score would be like the next determining factor if you have multiple embryos that are the same grade, and you're trying to figure out which one to transfer. So the mito score is basically the level of energy reserve, is how she explained it, the level of like mitochondria in the DNA, and the lower the mito score, the better. The range is from 15 to 60, and the mito score determines the likelihood that the embryo will implant. So she told me that the mito score of my normal embryo is a 26. So she said that is, like I said, the lower number the better, and the range is 15 to 60. So that's really close to the low end of the range, which is really good. She said that was really awesome, and that she feels very confident in this embryo. And then the grade, which I don't think I went over all the different grades of my embryos in my one embryo update video, but the grade of my embryo that is normal is a 4-1-2. So the 4 represents the expansion level, and that's the highest you can have. So 4 is good, is the best. Now the second number refers to the inner cell mass, and those are the cells that become the baby, and that's a 1, which is the best. That means good. And the third number refers to the trifectoderm, which becomes the placenta, and that is a 2, which is fair. So all in all, of course, a 4-1-1 would be best, but this is all I'm working with here. So I have a 4-1-2, which would be the same as like an AB. But the Gardner system, I think that goes up to 5 for that first number, I believe, either 5 or 6. So this grading system, 4 is the best for the first number. So basically the grade of my normal embryo is almost the best it can be. It's just that the trifectoderm is considered fair instead of good. But my embryologist said that fair and good are both absolutely viable. So the one other thing that I thought was kind of interesting that the genetic counselor told me on the phone today was that all of my embryos that were not normal, or the mosaics also, that she said there were no like there was no like pattern. There's no like concerning pattern with all of the abnormal or mosaic embryos. She said everything looked very sporadic and random. So it was just kind of like the luck of the draw, unfortunately. So it's not like, because I asked her and I got kind of emotional. I'm like, I feel like is something wrong with me, because it just doesn't make any sense when statistically half of these embryos should have been normal and only 1 out of 9 was normal. That's, you know, a really low percentage. She said that she didn't see any sort of concerning pattern, which typically, like, if there are a handful of abnormal embryos in a group of embryos that are tested and they look for patterns, that if there's a concerning pattern, then that's something to be aware of and possibly concerned about. So she said that it really just seemed like quote unquote sporadic random issues with my embryos. So I am choosing to look at this as the universe pointing me directly to the one baby that is meant to be mine, and that is my embryo number 2, is the ID number. So yeah, I'm feeling more at peace today. It's been a very rough 2.5 days, but I have always wanted 2 children, and I've just decided to leave it up to the universe again to point me in the direction of my second baby when the time comes. I thought about potentially delaying my embryo transfer and doing another egg retrieval, but I just don't want to put my body through that right now. And I feel like my body is in such a great place right now for a baby. I just had my DNC about a month and a half ago now, cleared everything out, made my uterus all prepped and ready. And then I've had, you know, like a month and a half for all my supplements to still take effect, because when I had my egg retrieval, I had started a bunch of supplements about not even a month before. Actually, yeah, much less than a month before. So now I've been on these supplements, all of my supplements, for several months that are all good for, I don't know why she always insists on whining every single time I'm filming. So yeah, so I'm hoping that like the supplements that I'm taking have also helped my hormonal imbalance with PCOS, which again, I will definitely be filming a video, multiple videos on PCOS, one specifically about all the supplements I take that I think have really helped over the last several months. So I think that's about it for this video. And as of right now, in less than a week, in 6 days, I have my appointment for my lining check and my blood work. So they will check the thickness of my uterine lining to see if it is at least 7 millimeters. I think ideally they would like it to be 8 to 10 millimeters, which is ideal for embryo implantation. And they will check my estrogen level to make sure, I believe they want it to be above 150. I wrote it down somewhere, but not here. I think it needs to be above 150. So I will absolutely keep you guys posted on that. I might even like switch up my video style and do more of like a vlog with my appointments that are coming up. I know I can't film in, I don't think, I'll ask, but I don't think I can film like in the rooms, but maybe like when I'm heading into my appointment and come out of my appointment, I'll give you guys kind of a play-by-play of that, because I know I like watching that kind of video. So yeah, if everything looks good, next Monday at that appointment, my embryo transfer would be November 30th or potentially December 1st, depending on scheduling. So I'm getting very, very excited now that I'm over the little traumatic weekend that I've had. But I'm in a good place now and very excited. So I hope you guys are all having a great night or day wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.